Hello, everyone. All right. Thanks for tuning in. Just get all set up here. Um, 4:05. I scheduled these right after my class I have on Wednesdays. And so sometimes I'm a few minutes late. So I don't like that, but here I am. Okay, so I wanted to talk to you today. I did a workshop on apathy, excuse me, apathy. And I thought that would be kind of a fun little thing to talk about today. Let me just adjust some of my settings here while we get started. All right. Um, the term apathy, it means lack of interest, enthusiasm, or concern for something, right? I think we all kind of know it when we feel it, right? A lot of my clients and a lot of people out there, they kind of go all in on the apathy, right? So, I don't really care right now. Like, these are some of the thoughts around apathy. Like, I don't really care. Oh, well, it doesn't really matter. Fuck it. Right? Like, lots of different thoughts. And sometimes we go all in on our goals and our protocol, whether it's our food or our drink protocol or our business, our calendar, whatever it is, we go all in on it. And then suddenly we revert back to like seeking pleasure, right? We get this indifference to ourselves. We get disinterested, maybe a just a lack of concern for our goals. Um, we neglect our goals. We neglect ourselves, maybe whatever it might be. We neglect our partner or our kids. That may be a loaded word for you, but there's forms of neglect that, we don't have to call CPS on, right? Just kind of becoming apathetic, right? And so our brain will offer us a whole lot of thoughts around it. So there's this quote. It reads, the opposite of love is not hate. The opposite of love is indifference. Okay. So think about indifference towards your business, right? Do you sometimes go through spurts where you have a lot of indifference towards your business, your goal, your partner, yourself, your own goals, right? You set up a food protocol where you're going to do intermittent fasting and you're not going to eat sugar and flour. And then suddenly you're like, oh, forget it. This isn't working. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter anyway, right? We may tell ourselves that we don't have the time or the energy to care, right? Um, to care for our own feelings, right? I just put a post out today about self care and self love and the conversations that you have in your head about that. And so a lot of times we're like desperately trying to get our own attention and we're neglecting ourselves. Okay. We can't even muster up enough energy to care that we are even upset, right? We just avoid or ignore or run away. Like we do a lot of buffering. Maybe we're like binging a Netflix show or scrolling social media, um, just avoiding whatever it is. So apathy is a suppression of emotions, right? So the opposite of that would be discipline, right? Like you're disciplined. You're going to stay on your protocol. You're going to stay to your self care regimen. You're going to say nice words to your spouse or partner, your kids, right? So apathy is a lot easier sometimes, but it's got a higher price tag, right? So the net negative effect of apathy would be like isolation and just not reaching your goals, right? We can fall into like I don't care about my weight. I don't care about this relationship. I don't care if I'm over drinking. I don't really care about my job or my money or my career. Like that goal is just too hard. Doesn't even matter anymore, right? So it can be disguised as self-care. But here's the thing, like you're like, oh, I just need a break. I'm gonna go care for myself. But you know the difference because of how you feel. You can tell the difference between true self-care and just apathy, right? One feels like love, or which I can't remember which hand, but one feels like love, and the other one just feels like avoidance, pain avoidance, right? So, the example I've here is like think about a mother. She has discipline when she's planning and organizing and caring for her small baby, right? It's important. It feels different and it looks different. The plan and structure are really important, but indifference would be disorganized, unpredictable, chaotic, right? Messy. So when you look around and you see evidence of these kind of things, you'll start to figure out what is your level of clarity that you have in your mind. Okay. Um, so let's see, what where are we at? Extreme self-care and discipline is what allows for growth. It's not confining or controlling. It's not punishing or punitive, right? Think about when you're doing your self-care. Are you loving yourself? Are you avoiding something that feels painful to you, right? Um, it's the difference between somebody who's out there just trying to control the world in order to feel better and somebody who has enough emotional intelligence to and discipline to take care of themselves. They know that's where they hold all their emotional power, is how they think, feel, and the things they do. Let's see. So I do have some exercises that you can journal on to think about. Um, the other thing I want to touch on is when we're feeling unhappy about our circumstances, whether it's the pandemic, the state of the world, our job, the our calendar. When we start feeling a little depressed, we can slip very easily into apathy. I think we've probably all been there a time or two in our lives, right? But the truth is, we can completely take control of that when we start taking responsibility for the way that we're thinking and feeling. Okay. We have no control over many of our circumstances, at least not in the moment, but you always have control over how you're thinking and feeling. Okay. So here's some questions, some kind of and a little exercise that you can, write these down and do a little journaling on them, right? So um, think about something you've given up on, and now you just feel apathy towards it. Okay, what caused you to give up on it? Okay, maybe it's a relationship you have in your life. Maybe it's a goal that you had previously set in your business. And then circumstances changed and you're like, "Oh, well, I can't do it now." And so you avoided it. You stopped moving towards that goal and now you're like, "Oh, I don't even care about it anymore." Right? Tired of trying. You're tired of feeling a certain way, right? So think so something you've given up on and now experience apathy towards, and what caused you to give up? And even like resistance to setting goals is a form of apathy, right? We resist setting a goal because for many reasons, one being we don't think we'll ever achieve it. We don't trust ourselves enough to even go after it. Maybe we think it will be hard, other people might judge us, those kind of things. Um, so that could be a form of apathy as well. So the second question, do you go in and out of apathy towards certain goals? Why? And then explain. So, like, I have clients who maybe have a weight loss goal, and we always start with why. Why do you want to lose weight? Why is that important? How do you think you're going to feel when you get there? Why is that important? Because here's the thing, you don't get the result or you don't get the belief and the feeling as a result of losing the weight. You have to believe and feel a certain way in order to get the result. We set goals because we think achieving those goals is going to make us feel a certain way. But we need to feel that certain way in order to take the actions to achieve the goal. All comes down to your thoughts, right? So one of the thoughts that comes up when clients and me, I've had this experience when I go in and out of apathy towards certain goals is it's not happening fast enough. And then I want to question you, what's the hurry? What's the hurry? And usually it's because you think you're going to feel a certain way when you reach that goal, right? You have to feel that way now. You and here's some people think like, well, um, they think, well, I'll be so happy when I get this goal. I have to want it in order to be happy. But here's the thing, you can be happy and still set goals and still want to achieve that goal. You can love your body and still choose to lose weight because maybe you want to feel good about your choices. You want to be that person. This is mine. I want to be someone who says who does what she tells herself she's going to do. That's one of the reasons, that's one of my big whys on pretty much everything I do, on my calendar, on my food protocol, on my drink protocol, right? I want to be someone who does what she tells herself she's going to do. I want to know that I always have my own back, that if I put it in the calendar, I'm going to do it. And that's it. Because I love myself. I want to keep my appointments with myself, keep my promises to myself. We start to feel apathy towards our relationship with ourselves, and that's our most important relationship, right? So the third thing, describe what apathy feels like to you, and then compare those feelings to discipline or commitment. Can you see the allure that apathy has, right? Apathy is like tired and rest and comfort, right? Decreased pain, decreased discomfort, feels known and easy. And when you think of discipline and commitment, the reality is those are really negative emotions, but they create the most positive results for us. So our brain wants to keep us safe. It wants to keep us from avoiding pain. It wants to keep us feeling the pleasure and the comfort of just doing the same thing. It doesn't want us to venture out and do the hard thing and create that commitment and discipline feeling in order to take the actions we need to create our results, right? Um, our brain doesn't want us to get uncomfortable at all. It wants to keep us very comfortable. Okay, so the fourth thing, the emotion of apathy creates unintended and unwanted results. So, do you have the results of apathy in your life? Make a list. So, think of all the results you have in your life that have been created by a feeling of apathy. Okay. I was just checking my video. All right. Um, I think of some of the results or non-results really that I've created by some feelings of apathy that I've actually had this month. I've had some apathetic feelings about things, and I've actually gotten coached on that this week. So, it's really, really helpful. If you want to get to the cause, like we think we're just going to force ourselves into action. Well, if you would just be committed, and I'm committed, and we're like, I'm committed in this like, resistance kind of commitment, right? Like a punitive commitment. Like the thought could be like, you're lazy, you better get into action. That's a terrible, terrible energy to come from when you want to create something, right? So there's a few things. There's some disorganization in my life that has been created through apathy, right? There's some, even just some books. Like I have this list of books that I want to read. And I found myself last week, a couple days, like I picked up my phone, started scrolling social media, and there I was still scrolling like 30 minutes later. I'm like, wait, I was going to read that book I really wanted to read, right? So So make your list, right? And then number 5, what are the thoughts that led to your apathy? Okay. Make a list. Some of mine were like, I don't know how. I'm not creative enough. I'm just tired. That's so funny. There's not enough time. You guys, time. Time just is. There's always enough time. Time doesn't change. That's a whole nother that's a whole nother session. That we'll go to with that. There's always enough time. It's what are you putting your focus on in your time, right? I'm never going to get there. Like it's taking too long. That's another version of that, right? Um, so when you make that list of thoughts, go through it and then be ready with the strategies that you want to implement to counter those thoughts that come up, right? Like I want the growth, right? If I think I don't know how, like, yes, of course you do. What if you did know how? What would you do? Or I'll figure it out, right? You can use positive visualization. Oh my gosh. Use positive visualization. Nailed it. Use that when you're forming your sentences. Use that when so when that thought of like, "Ugh, I'm just tired. Like, no, but if I lay in bed and watch Netflix right now, I won't have that dopamine hit of pride when I've created that workbook that I've been working on for my clients, right? So number 6, failure, quitting, and exhaustion often lead to apathy. Explain how this pattern is self-created and include an example from your own life, right? Failure, quitting, and exhaustion often lead to apathy. And I also want to offer that it's the other way around too. We start to feel apathetic if we're thinking, "Well, I don't know how." And then you feel apathy. And then your actions are to quit, right? Your actions are to ruminate in your head on, oh, I just don't know how to do it. I'm not creative. I'm not smart enough. Other people do it better. All those things can lead to the failure. Also, failure is your own thought about it, right? You're just failing ahead of time. When you don't even try, you're just failing ahead of time. So you don't have to put yourself out there and risk embarrassment or whatever. So let's see, we've got a couple more. Number 7, think of someone in your life who is apathetic towards something. It might be a teenager who doesn't care about school or a friend who doesn't care about career growth. See if you can explain their apathy. This isn't about judgment. everybody's on their own path. Like, don't judge yourself if you're like, oh my gosh, I just realized that I've been feeling this apathy she speaks of because of a certain circumstance, because of my thought about a certain circumstance, right? How could you explain like a teenager who's not caring about school? School's hard. Our brains are wired to be comfortable. It's so much easier not to go to school and do the schoolwork and do the homework, right? Like they're not driven or motivated. Some are. I mean, and not everybody's the same, but that's why maybe this teenager is not super excited about school and they're feeling apathetic towards it. Okay, so that's number 7. Remember, take the judgment out of it. The less you judge other people, the less you judge yourself. It goes in a circle. The less you judge yourself, the less you're going to judge other people, and you're just going to understand them more and understand yourself more. So, number 8, make a list of the areas in your life where you have a tendency to say, it says screw it. I'm going to say fuck it. Where do you have a tendency to just say fuck it and be apathetic, whether it's just temporary or maybe it's consistently, right? Um, and one of these areas that you would like to improve, right? And so, what are the actions that you will need to take? Okay. So, make a list of the areas of your life where you have a tendency to say, screw it, and be apathetic temporarily or consistently that you would like to improve. What are the actions you need to take? I want to offer the first action you need to take is start doing some thought work. Look, dive into it. Why am I feeling apathy? What is this thought? Start changing that thought around to something that brings up more feelings of commitment or confidence or certainty, right? And then you can make a list of the actions. So there you have it. Little exercise for you. A little journaling exercise to get those get your brain moving. So I'll just recap it. So the exercise number 1, think about something you've given up on and now experience apathy towards. What caused you to give up? And be real clear on whether it was a circumstance, a thought. Hint, it's always going to be your thought. What are you blaming? Yeah. Like, was it the pandemic? That's just a circumstance, right? You get to choose your own thoughts. Okay, that's number 1. Number 2, do you go in and out of apathy towards certain goals? Why? And explain. I said some people go in and out of apathy towards maybe a weight loss goal or a business goal or something like that. Number 3, describe what apathy feels like to you and then compare it to discipline or commitment. Can you see the allure? And do a little journaling around that. Yeah, it's so much more fun to just be comfortable and lazy and not step into discomfort, right? All right, number 4, the emotion of apathy creates unintended and unwanted results. Do you have the results of apathy in your life? Make a list. Okay. I don't even think this should say do you. There's probably areas of your life, you can even find one where you have the result from some apathy. I mentioned a workbook that I had been working on and I wanted to create a new one. Some messy areas in my house. Yeah, some disorganization, some books that I want to read that I have not taken the action to read. Number 5, what are the thoughts that lead to apathy? Make a list of all your thoughts that lead you down that path of saying, fuck it, I don't even care, I don't even want that, that's too hard, whatever it might be. And then be ready with your strategy thoughts, right? Positive visualization. Like, I want the growth, bring it on. I want to experience the human experience. I want to live a big life, right? I am not too tired. Number 6, Failure, quitting, and exhaustion often lead to apathy. Explain how this pattern is self created and include an example from your own life. Okay. 7, think of someone in your life who's apathetic towards something, possibly a teenager not wanting to go to school, or a friend who doesn't care about career growth, and try to explain their apathy. Okay. And then number 8, make a list of the areas in your life where you have a tendency to say fuck it and be apathetic that you would like to improve. And what are the actions you need to take? There you go, guys. Get to work. There's your fun journaling assignment for the week. And feel free to email. A couple of you have emailed me some of your models. I love it. Feel free, send it in a Facebook message or email. And if there's anything that you're stuck on, just figure it out. I'm happy to jump on a call. Right? I love you guys. I'm happy at this point. Like, we can schedule a 20-minute call. The magic can happen in 20 minutes. All right. That's my offer to you at this time. All right. So, make it a great week. I love you guys, and I will catch you later. All right. Bye-bye.